You know that sound, right? In any busy medical clinic, it's the one thing you just can't escape, the phone, ringing and ringing. Well, we're about to dig into what that sound is truly costing a practice. And look, on the surface, it makes total sense. A constantly ringing phone feels like the heartbeat of the clinic. It's a sign that you're busy. It makes you think of new patients, full schedules, and a healthy business. It's kind of the soundtrack to success, or so we think. But here's a thought, and it might just change how you hear that sound from now on. What if all that ringing isn't actually a sign of a thriving business? What if it's really a symptom of a deeper problem, one that's silently holding the entire practice back? And this really gets us to the core of the issue. That familiar sound could be masking a really serious problem. Think of it like a quiet leak, something that's just draining your resources without anyone even realizing it's happening.
And believe me, this isn't just a small drip. We are talking about a major financial drain. For a lot of practices, this leak is quietly siphoning off tens of thousands of dollars in lost revenue, year after year after year.
So you might be wondering, how does this even happen? Well, it's not one big thing. It's more like death by 1,000 cuts from all those little daily frustrations. It's that new patient who calls, gets sent a voicemail, and then just moves on to the next clinic on their list. It's the existing patient who needs to reschedule but hangs up after being stuck on hold for 5 minutes and then just becomes a no-show. Each one of those is just a small leak, but when they all happen together, they create a flood of lost opportunity. Okay, so we've identified this quiet and very costly leak, but knowing there's a problem is only half the battle, right? The real question is, how in the world do you plug it? Well, the fix is actually found in technology that's been designed specifically for this kind of work environment. A fantastic example is a tool called MedAI, which was literally built from the ground up to solve the unique challenges that every busy clinic's front desk faces. So what is this thing exactly? Okay, I want you to imagine having the perfect receptionist. I mean, someone who never sleeps, never takes a lunch break, and never gets overwhelmed when a dozen phone lines are all lighting up at once. That's the core idea here, a specialized AI that basically acts as a dedicated 24/7 front desk for the clinic. So here's how it works in the real world. First off, it answers every single call, instantly. It doesn't matter if it's 2 in the morning or during that chaotic lunch rush, no opportunity is ever missed. From there, it accurately gathers all the patient's details and handles all those routine tasks, like booking and rescheduling, all on its own, automatically. And here's the best part. It acts as a smart filter. This means only the truly urgent issues ever get sent to your human staff, freeing them up to focus on the patients who are right there in front of them. Now, that all sounds great in theory, but what does it really mean for a clinic's actual performance? Let's get into the numbers because this is where the story gets really compelling. Yeah, let's talk about the bottom line. Clinics that use this type of AI are recovering anywhere from $50,000 to over $150,000 per year. And just to be crystal clear, this isn't new business they're creating. It is simply the revenue that was already there but was being lost to missed calls and totally preventable no-shows. But, the impact goes way beyond just the financial side of things. It's also about the people. This technology can cut down the administrative workload on your front desk staff by 30 to 60%. That is a huge amount of time that they get back to focus on what actually matters most, providing better care to the patients who are physically in the clinic. When you put it all together, the transformation is it's night and day. The front desk goes from a state of chaos, constant interruptions, lost revenue, and an overloaded staff, to a state of control. The team is focused, that income is recovered, and patients are happier because they can get what they need whenever they need it. It is a fundamental change in how the entire front office operates. All right, let's bring this all back home. We've seen the problem, we've looked at the solution, and we've seen the impact. Now it's really time to think about what all this means for you. If there's one thing you take away from this, it's this. That feeling of being constantly overwhelmed by the phones, well, it doesn't have to be the new normal. It is not a permanent condition. It is a solvable problem. It is absolutely possible to regain control and bring some calm back to the front desk. So I'll just leave you with this one last question. If that feeling of chaotic, out-of-control phones sounds familiar to you, just take a moment and consider the true cost. Not just in lost dollars, but in staff burnout and patient frustration. What is that constant ringing really costing you?